the hour of 4. And I would like to say good evening to everyone. Good evening, AI enthusiasts. Good evening, judges. Good evening, our coaches. Good evening to our facilitators. Good evening to our partners who are on this call today. Good evening to everyone who is ready to be part of the future shaping webinar and mentorship program that we are launching this evening. My name is Anani John Close, and I lead ACLAT Foundation as the country manager. I'm very happy we have everyone on this call today. As we all know that AI and robotics is not just about now, it's about the future. And we have seen different reports that indicates that the world will be largely influenced. The way we are going in the world right now is a future that needs AI and robotic skills to thrive. And however, we've noticed that in the recent events, we've seen different robotics and AI competitions spring up online and offline, and we've seen a lot of injustice, we've seen a lot of unprofessionalism, we've seen a lot of lack of in-depth understanding of what it is to really be a judge at the robotics or AI competition. That is why, through the support of Camden Education Trust and ArcLight Foundation and Google, ArcLight Foundation has put together this AI and Robotics Judges Mentorship Program to empower our coaches and judges and technical people in the area of AI and robotics with the knowledge, with the skills, with the ethos and practice to ensure that when they get to sit on a panel as a judge for any robotics competition in Nigeria, either intra-school, inter-school, inter-region, or even inter-nation, and of course internationally as well, they should be able to confidently deliver. That is why we have put this together. And special thanks to Mr. Andrew, the lead mentor at the Camden Education Trust, for his support to us over the years. Thank you so much. So in the next few minutes, I'll just run us through about ArcLight Foundation. I promise to be very, very brief. Gift, could you please put okay, before Gift comes share my screen, I would like to know our audiences that are in the house, please tell us briefly your name and what you do. Are you in robotics? Are you a robotics coach? Are you an AI programmer? Are you a software developer? Are you just want to see in the chat room? Please let me see. I'll be checking my chat now to know where we are. So let's type. Let's type. I want to see. Tell us your name and what you do. Are you an AI developer or software programmer? Are you a robotics coach? Are you a technical consultant? I'm not seeing any name, any message in the group. So let them come. Let them come. Can you hear me? I'm talking to myself. Okay, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. So I'm looking forward to your messages in the chat room. Why Gifts urgently brings up my screen, so I can just run us through very briefly. I have a lot of slides, but because of time, I'll just go straight to the point. Once again, I welcome you to the Judges Mentorship Program for AI and Robotics Practitioners. Please, the next slide. So this is what our agenda looks like. We've done a lot around welcome and arrival. I'll talk briefly about ArcLight, and Mr. Andrew will be called upon to talk briefly about Camden, and then we can give us a brief overview of what the programs look like, and then we go deep into the session. So today we will be having a very short session on the foundations of judging. Next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you. So most of us already, you know a lot about ArcLight Foundation. But for those of us that are just getting to know about us, we are a non-profit organization that is passionately promoting STEM education in Nigeria. And we have narrowed it significantly to the area of robotics. And that's what we've been doing since 2011, although we became officially registered in 2016 with the Corporate Affairs Commission in Nigeria. Our work cut across four thematic areas and cut across six of the SDG goals. We have a technological center where we use technology to shape education. We have a teacher development center where we bridge the competency gap in our teaching, our teachers in Nigeria. We teach in early childhood, we teach in primary, we teach in so we build the capacity of teachers across board. Our research center is where we use evidences to drive systemic transformation and engagement with the relevant stakeholders, including state and non-state actors. Then we have our we also have our school transformation center. Over there, what we do is that we build both digital and physical infrastructure to ensure that learning takes place in very conducive and modern facilities. I'll just keep our work touch on all of these SDG goals, but mainly on SDG 4 and SDG 9, where we talk about education, innovation, infrastructure, creativity, solving problems with technology. That's what we do. Next slide, please. So these are some of our achievements so far. So because of our time, I just had to run through all of these things. But with one of the key programs, I think I didn't get to see that slide. Is we have a lot of programs. One of the key ones is the World Robot Olympiad, where we act as national organizer of the World Robot Olympiad in Nigeria, organizing robotics competition for children across different levels from primary to secondary, even to tertiary institutions. And over the years, we've developed skills, we've developed students, we've built coaches, we've empowered schools, and we've led the delegation team in Nigeria to different countries of the world. And even this year, this particular month, by God's grace, we'll be going to Singapore with 14 teams of 68 delegates to represent Nigeria at the international scene. So we've also done many other projects and programs as well that time will fail me to read. But one thing I want us to take away is that Akla Foundation is the organization to support, to partner with, to be a part of, to learn from, to grow. We have a lot of platforms and initiatives that empower teachers, that empower schools, that empower individuals, that empower students. We have a lot of those things. So I encourage you to please check our websites and check our social media platforms to know a lot about us. But if you want to call us, you can get the number on our website and call us through. We'll talk to you more about Apply Foundation. So those I would just know. I would like to take a pause now for Andy to talk briefly about Camden Education Trust. Thank you. So now, Gives, you can please stop sharing our screen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. And thank you to everyone on the call for making time to join us today. My name is Andrew Nderito. I am the lead mentor for the WRO by Camden. Currently managing all the mentors and mentoring all the mentors across Africa in lieu of the WRO competition, the annual WRO competition. And I'm glad to have you all today so that we can join forces to bring forth something new and exciting, and most of all, something innovative. So, at Camden, we are on a mission to ignite children and teachers' passion for STEAM education. Nowadays, we no longer look onto STEM. I mean, children are growing at a fast rate given the advances in technology, and it's best to actually factor in arts. So science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. I believe these are the key skills for the future workforce. And we at Camden are on a mission to ensure that young minds and the people who are guiding these young minds are on the right track. So I believe that by the end of this session, we will have covered much, if not basic, that will get us started for this program. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Andrew, for that. And yes, very excellent work that you do as a person and that you also do at Camden Education Trust. So let's just move on to the program overview. Why are we here today? So we called it the AI and Robotics Judges Mentorship Program. Gibbs, could you please help me with my screen? So while Gift is doing that, I'll just proceed. The AI Judges Mentorship and AI and Robotics Judges Mentorship Program is an initiative of ArcLight Foundation supported by Camden and Google. And as I mentioned earlier, the goal is to build a strong ecosystem of AI and robotics enthusiasts and experts that can sit as judges at events in Nigeria, across Africa, and even in the world at large. It is a two-phase program that starts. Next slide, Gift. That's okay. It's a two-phase program um, that is starting with Nigeria. We are so lucky that Camden chooses Nigeria to start this program with. And the first phase is just going to have like two contact sessions. And today is the first one. The second one, we will all agree on the group that we have created and so that we can have a fuller house at that time. The second phase of the program, which is the main program itself, is going to be across all of the nations in Africa. We're going to be having experts and enthusiasts and in AI and robotics and STEM and technology, science, engineering, mathematics come together from different parts of Africa to be part of that mentorship program. And it's going to be really, 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 really robust. And it's going to happen between February next year through to June. It's going to be 5 months, very intensive with weekly activities, reflections, group works, peer reviews, live classes, and projects that will be carried out. So it's going to be really, really very, very hands-on. It's going to be fully online. Both the first phase and second phase as well is going to be fully online. But trust me, it's going to be very, very interactive. It's going to be very, very engaging as well. So we understand that because people may want to, go back to watch. There's going to be there will be assessment. There will be some form of tests or examination at the end of everything. So we want to ensure that people can go back to watch the session. So every session, including this session, is going to be recorded for us as well. So I can go back to rewatch. At the end of the main program, not this pilot phase, we'll issue certificates to all those that meet the criteria for certification. And this will be shared when we get into the main phase of the main program next year. But I can tell you for free, it has to do with attendance, assignments, peer review, group work, submissions, projects, reports. At the end of it, lessons learned, and of course, the exam or test that will be shared with us as well. So we'll be sharing different templates in this program, different resources that can help you grow your 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 skill, that can help you stand out amongst others in the field of AI and robotics, both as a coach, as an individual, and then when you get to sit as a judge at different events. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, just for us to understand, because we are taking attendance very, very seriously, we encourage everybody to please join every call with your names and details for proper record keeping. Well, we have a rapporteur in the house who is in the chats checking for those that have attended the sessions as well. You also can get those reports from Google Meets through the backend as well. There will be reflections, there will be assessment, there will be group work, as I mentioned earlier, and there will be subjects as well that we will share. So please kindly participate in all of those activities as well. All materials will be shared via Google Classroom, via Google Drive. So we'll have a folder where we upload all of our resources, well structured storage platform, Google Drive, where we can store. So every video that we'll be sharing will be through that Google Drive folder. Information will be communicated via email as means of communication. We'll be doing a lot of emails because as judges that wants to go global, you need to cultivate that culture of checking your emails regularly. So via email, however, we'll also be using WhatsApp communication as well. We have done WhatsApp a lot lately because we are just beginning. But as we go ahead in the program, we use email as well because we want to build a strong email culture as well. So it's very, very free. So don't let anyone come into your DM to ask you for money at all. It's going to be very, very, very free. All we need is your seriousness and your time and your attention to details. So please, and then we also encourage just to steer clear of scammers. Let everybody be sure that we set up a two-step verification on our WhatsApp platforms so that people don't get to hijack your account and then post sense wrong information to dupe others on the platform as well. For now, we will let you know those that will communicate with you officially. So it's not just be any email anybody that will come in the name of Arclight or Calm them. No, we'll let you know the people that will only contact you regarding this project duration at all. So those that are standing participants at the end of everything, when we do all of the assessments, we'll have a way to reward you in different ways. And one of the ways is that you can be a judge at the WRO national competition next year, and possibility of also going international with us to the country we'll be going to for this WRO next year as well. We also have other prizes that will be announced in the course of the program. So like I said earlier, it's a two-phase program. So this participation in the first phase does not guarantee your slot for the next phase. However, you have an edge to ensure that you are able to maximize it. Through your seriousness, you can be in that slot. The one for next year, the main program itself is highly competitive, and for you to be here already, you have an edge to over others, and you can secure a slot if you participate actively in this session. Then lastly, again, I said this earlier again, just follow us on our platforms to get more information about our work at the BRO Nigeria or Arclight Foundation. Next slide, please. Mm, Okay, I think that is all from my end. So other information will be communicated to us in due course. So on this note, I'd like to invite Andrew to launch the first session of this mentorship program. I know you have questions. We'll take them later. Thank you.
Amazing. I hope you can see my screen and my audio
Yes.
is clear as well. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Once again, thank you everyone for making time today to help bring forth such a huge, impactful initiative. So without further ado, I'd like to start. So today's session will mostly be focusing on Judges Foundations, since it's pretty much a groundbreaking pilot session, as it marks an important milestone in professionalizing how we evaluate and nurture technological innovation, not only in Nigeria, but across Africa. You're now part of a movement to elevate the standards of AI and robotics competitions across our continent and at large, the whole globe. So let's begin this journey together. Over to the session agenda. So over the next many but few minutes, we'll explore four critical pillars of professional judging. We'll move from understanding your role as a judge to mastering the practical skills you need in the field. This is an interactive session. Your questions and insights are valuable as we refine this program together. Your primary role in the grand scheme is to pioneer participants who are shaping the future program. Remember, we are not creating followers, but we are creating leaders. You're not just participants, you're co-creators of this program. And your feedback will directly influence how we train hundreds of judges across Africa in 2026 and the consecutive years. We've witnessed remarkable growth from robotics clubs in various countries across Africa to international competitions, which draw thousands of participants. But with this growth comes responsibility. As competitions multiply and stakes increase, we need judges who can maintain consistency, fairness, and professionalism across all events. Case in point, from 2013, 2015 to 2025, Africa's AI and robotics landscape has evolved from early adoption to a more active role in creation, driven by increased investments, national strategies, and a growing focus on local solutions. This period saw countries like Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, and Ghana emerge as AI leaders, thus strengthening infrastructure and building local expertise. However, progress is uneven, with persistent challenges in infrastructure, regulation, and skill development across these countries. We face to actually level the playing field across Africa. I'll jump straight to the key developments, just but a few. From consumption to creation, initial focus on consuming AI technologies has shifted to a stronger emphasis on creating AI solutions tailored for local needs. And by this, I mean local projects from competitors who try to solve issues that they are currently facing in their communities. Following this up with the emergence of an AI ecosystem, the rise of ChatGPT, Gemini, and advances in the same field, which has given rise to minds that can actually utilize this technology wisely and bring forth solutions that we couldn't be able to before. Then last but not least, we have robotics integration. Robotics has advanced in tandem with AI, growing with a trend towards incorporating AI-powered autonomous systems such as those used in healthcare and for small businesses. And I mean, as much as it looks small in these robotics competitions for young kids and children, everything has to start from somewhere. And if they do get the proper foundation and guidance paired with constructive feedback, I do believe that they will be the frontiers of revolutionizing robotics and AI in our continent. When a student in Rwanda receives the same quality of judging as one in Egypt, we build trust. So Why focus on professionalism? When sponsors see professional evaluation, they increase investment. When participants receive expert feedback, they grow faster. And this is where I mentioned constructive feedback. Not only feedback that can be used to better them for the next competition, but will also help them in their thought process. This professionalization isn't just about improving competitions. It's about accelerating Africa's technological development. So, what are the key areas that we'll be looking at, from volunteer judging to professional standards, from subjective opinions to objective criteria, from local variations to continental consistency? Different competitions demand different expertise. However, core judging principles remain constant. Whether you're evaluating a line following robot or an AI healthcare solution, you need to understand the context, criteria, and the impact of your decision. Case in point, robotics challenges. Looking at factors such as technical accuracy, build quality, programming efficiency. AI innovation showcases novelty assessment, ethical implications, and scalability. Heavy on ethical implications and scalability, since as much as we are assimilating AI and we are building solutions around AI, we have to actually consider that we have to use AI responsibly. We have hackathons. This comes down to time management, collaboration, and rapid prototyping. Last but not least, we have hybrid events where integration, evaluation, and cross-domain innovation. How do judges evaluate participants from different countries? How do they evaluate how well they've structured their solution? Regardless, the core judging principles remain constant. What competencies do we actually need to form a strong and solid foundation? You don't need to be an expert in every technology. You don't need to be an expert in robotics. You don't need to be an expert in AI. However, you must understand enough to evaluate fairly. More importantly, you need the soft skills to communicate effectively with young innovators who may be presenting for the first time. Technical knowledge, analytical skills, cultural sensitivity, communication excellence, ethical integrity, and continuous learning. I do believe that with proper installation of these elements, you'll be able to evaluate not only fairly, but also in ways that help you understand what the team needs beyond the judging criteria. Cultural sensitivity For example, a student or a participant from West Africa has a different view on how they have built their solution as compared to a participant in a well-off country that has more resources and has less restrictions towards scalability and more or less access to resources. So understanding enough actually helps with the whole chunk, if I could use the word, if the whole process, the whole components and factors that contribute to an effective judge. Let me move on to ethics and integrity, section 2 of today's session. These principles aren't just guidelines, they're your professional covenant. From fairness, transparency, accountability, respect, confidentiality, and independence. When you judge, you hold the dreams and efforts of young innovators in your hands. When you judge a team unfairly or without adequate respect for the team based on certain factors best known to the current judge, you stand to hold the future of the participant. You may either kill or you may either build. You may either instill fear or you may either instill creativity. They say that with great power comes great responsibility, and that responsibility demands the highest ethical standards. Conflicts aren't always obvious. From direct conflicts to indirect conflicts. And this is actually one of the major issues that judges face across all industries, from AI to robotics to all the other non-technical fields and technical fields. I'll use an example. That team from your alma mater or your previous team, previous institution, previous workplace, that's a potential conflict. The project using technology from your employer, mm, another conflict. However, it's important to consider employing the said and discussed skills relating to ethics and the core competencies that we set base as an effective judge. So when in doubt, it's important to be transparent, disclose. Remember, your integrity is worth more than any single judging assignment. That single or that moment that comes forth and brings an issue or rather a conflict of interest may not only affect the team but you as a whole, because we are not only trying to build or nurture effective judges. We are trying to nurture persons that will guide the next frontiers of our generation. We all have biases. I mean, it's human nature, but the key is recognizing them and managing them. On screen, we have a few common objectivity challenges, starting from the halo effect, where one impressive aspect overshadows weaknesses. The team has this amazing feature installed on their robot that makes it look so flashy that overshadows or offers more than meets the eye. Anchoring bias. The team may come out strong from the first impression, therefore dominating evaluation. Confirmation bias, seeking evidence for initial judgment. Cultural bias, favoring familiar approaches, whereby you favor a team since they are using or they have assimilated a technology that you're familiar with. Their ethical background blends well with yours or resonates with yours. However, we need to look beyond the surface. That quiet team may have groundbreaking innovation, and that polished presentation might hide technical weaknesses. So, what mitigation strategies will you use? Use of structured scoring rubrics, taking notes during evaluation. An important point that we will come back to later in the session. Reviewing all criteria before final scoring and calibrating with fellow judges. Judge A may be anchored biasly to a certain team, but Judge C may have another opinion regarding the same team. To help neutralize the whole judging process, it's important that judges calibrate and discuss whilst following the set structured scoring rubrics so that we bring forth a fair and transparent judging scheme. Some projects you'll see may become $1 million ventures. Others contain years of research, which is actually promising. However, intellectual property is so in demand and it's such a rare and volatile commodity in our society today. The project that wins today may not be scalable or may not be that important or may not be that impactful come 5 years or come a year and a half. However, that project that showed great potential, if properly guided and properly judged, may actually grow into $1 million venture or may actually provide a breakthrough with a certain issue that a society or their society is actually facing. So we must protect technical innovations and unique approaches. They may not be the best, but the idea is worth looking into. Let's not kill the idea because it failed the judging criteria. Maybe it was a technical issue, maybe it was a logical issue in the code. Their minds may not be as matured to the level where they can actually compose compelling business models and strategies. However, as a judge, given your vast knowledge of things on things, meta knowledge, you can be able to protect that solution and help them and guide them properly so that they may be able to actually secure their project to not only become a multi-million venture, but a multi-million dollar venture, but also a venture that changes lives and also modifies how we live in our society. To close, or rather to wrap intellectual property and confidentiality, the mitigation strategies that we would employ align with signing and honoring NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, avoiding photography without permission, and not discussing projects outside official forums. There might be a brilliant innovator that is not present in the competition. However, should they get a whiff of the idea, they stand to build the whole project in less time. And should they have an advantage of accessing more resources that allow them to scale to a higher level, then that pretty much dissolves the original idea. So treat every project with the confidentiality it deserves. Your discretion protects innovation and it encourages participants to share their best ideas. So let's get a bit technical. Let's discuss this scenario where you're likely to face a similar situation. You're judging a national robotics competition. The main sponsors during lunch mentions their company is particularly interested in agricultural robotics and hopes to recruit talent. How will you handle this? Take time to look into the ethical concerns, your response, what actions you'll take, and how this may affect your evaluation. Okay, I hope you've internalized the whole idea. Let's quickly jump into the immediate ethical concerns that might be involved with the whole scenario. So, this case in point may be an attempted influence. Even if subtle, this is an attempt to influence the whole judging process. Or maybe it's done in effort to implicate pressure to favor agricultural projects over the other projects that are still within the competition. Conflict of interest. Maybe the sponsor has commercial interest in specific outcomes of the project, or maybe the recruitment goals could bias evaluation. Also, it could be a breach of independence. I mean, judges must remain independent of all stakeholders. The sponsor conversation already compromises perceived neutrality, and other teams could question fairness if they came to know about this. So, what's the ideal response? Polite but firm boundary setting. This will help but maintain complete independence through the evaluation process and also documenting the whole interaction. Case in point, writing down what was exactly said and any witnesses. This is crucial for your records should there be any legal action that may be taken. Back to our installed competencies, transparency. It's better you disclose this to the informed or the chief judge so that they are aware of the whole situation. So let's look into another case study. A team from a rural area has created an impressive solution that technically violates competition rules about component specifications, but they had limited access to approved materials. This falls into one of the ethical and resource related issues that I had mentioned earlier, resource inequality. How do we balance strict rule enforcement with recognizing innovation under constraints? Your judgment here shapes not just one competition, but the inclusivity of our entire ecosystem. So once again, take a minute to think and internalize how to go about the innovative rule interpretation case study. Okay, let's look at the valid responses that we would use to approach this situation. Number one, strict enforcement. It's either you disqualify or penalize according to the rules. Remember, rules were published in advance and all the teams had the same information. Thus, compromising this will contribute to unfairness. How do we do this compassionately so that we do not kill the team? Give special recognition and invite the team to exhibit, not compete. Provide feedback for future compliance and connect them with resources for next time. This works best for situations where, case in point, safety and critical factors have been violated and clear advance notice of rules was issued. On to part 3, evaluation and calibration fundamentals. This goes back to this case study that we just analyzed. A good rubric removes ambiguity. When a team asks why they scored 7 instead of 9 in innovation, it should be able to point to specific descriptors. So let's examine how rubrics translate subjective impressions into objective scores. We have criteria categories: technical, innovation, presentation, impact, performance. Is it proficient, developing, beginning, or simply exemplary? Point allocations. How was each, or how heavy were the points in relevance to the relevance? In relevance to how it solves or fits into the whole solution. Then we have descriptive indicators, observable behaviors, and outcomes. Remember, the rubric is your contract with participants. Let's evaluate this project together and notice how it addresses a real African challenge. Agricultural drone system. So we have an autonomous drone for crop monitoring, AI-powered disease detection, SMS alerts to farmers with locally sourced materials. So the technical solution may not be cutting edge globally, but the local adaptation and impact is significant. So how will you score each criterion? For the autonomous drone, for crop monitoring, you will give it 30%, innovation and creativity, 25, social impact, presentation and documentation. Remember, the rubric stays the same across all boards. We should not let ethical concerns come across how effectively you judge the project. Again, perfect agreement isn't the goal, but defensible consistency is. When it comes to calibration and consistency, looking at how the rubrics are structured and how sample projects have been evaluated before the competition actually helps set base that will actually provide a transparent and fair ground for all the teams. Regular check-ins and discussions on edge cases amongst judges during the competition helps a lot with consistency. This directly falls into calibration. Calibration with judges. I mentioned that we will fall back into this. And during post evaluation, reviewing of score distributions and identifying outliers. When judges' scores vary by 2 to 3 points on a scale, on a 10-point scale, that's normal. However, when one judge consistently scores 5 points differently, we definitely need to calibrate. So research shows that judges unconsciously score confident presenters even higher even if they have weaker projects. We might underestimate younger participants or those presenting in a non-native language. Regardless, as an effective judge, awareness is the first step to fairness. So you should be aware, or rather, you should be able to recognize and address biases accordingly. Now, on to the last part as we wind up. Communication and feedback essentials. How do you deliver professional rulings? This stems back to constructive communication and feedback. Your words in these moments matter immensely. For some participants, this is their first competition, and you wouldn't want to discourage, or rather, you don't want to kill the young innovator spirit for whatever or however you convey your message or the feedback. For others, it might determine scholarship opportunities. So be clear, warm, and professional. Your delivery can inspire continued participation, even in defeat. So acknowledge all participants, highlight competition strengths, explain judging process briefly, announce the results clearly, and celebrate the achievements where due. So use of phrases like after careful deliberation, your project scored this due to proper or improper this and that. The judges were impressed by your presentation or your implementation or your team arrangement. This decision reflects the rules or how the rubrics are structured. So again, your delivery can inspire continued participation even in defeat. Some of the participants are not only here to just compete for the trophy, they're here to compete to learn, they're here to become better innovators, and it's our job to help them achieve more than that. So, structuring constructive feedback and using my all-time favorite framework, the STAR framework. I have used this with my mentors. However, the acronym slightly differs in meaning. However, they stand to convey the same meaning. Strengths, targets, actions, and resources. Feedback is a gift that keeps giving, and good feedback helps teams improve long after the competition ends. So, always start with strengths so that you can build confidence before suggesting improvements. Be specific and be actionable. For example, your robot's navigation algorithm showed creative problem solving. The documentation could be more detailed. So consider adding flowcharts and code comments and check out the WRO documentation guide. Such a response lights up the innovator's mind to actually improve and not only look down on their weaknesses, but find new ways on handling their consecutive projects and challenges that they may ensue. There might be questions based on the feedback that you provided, and disputes are opportunities to demonstrate professionalism. We employ the listen protocol. So let them speak fully, identify the concern, show understanding, take appropriate action, explain the decision clearly, and note for future reference. To best bring this protocol forward, I'll use an example of an upset parent or a frustrated coach who are often just advocating for their team. They may come forth as uptight or too strict or angry. However, it's important to listen fully, show respect, and respond with facts. Never take challenges personally. An effective judge demonstrates professionalism appropriately and communicates effectively where need be. Terms like I understand your concern, let me review the specific criteria, or help me understand your perspective. You may not know where the parent invested or what the parent might have done or what lengths the coach might have gone to so that the team may succeed or they were certain that the team should succeed. So they might be, and many teams are actually frustrated by this, but how we handle the disputes is what sets you or sets us apart as effective judges. Remember, English may be a third or fourth language for some participants. That shy team might be brilliant but struggling with language. So they end up using gestures, drawings, and demonstrations. Ensure your feedback is accessible to all. Respect different communication styles. Be aware of language barriers and avoid technical jargon where possible. Understanding that there are different and varying educational backgrounds that go beyond the cultural background of the participants. Let's strive to ensure that our feedback is clearly brought or delivered to the team in the easiest and most respectable way. So let's wrap up. Remember, you're shaping Africa's tech future, and every evaluation is a learning opportunity. Fairness and encouragement go hand in hand. Your growth as a judge never stops, just as the young innovators. You now have the foundational tools for professional judging, which aren't just concepts. They are practices you'll refine with every competition, because with every competition comes new challenges, comes new innovations, comes restructured scoring structure and schemes. So your role extends beyond scoring. Your mentors, encouragers, and gatekeepers of fairness. So take a moment for honest self-assessment. What aspect of judging do you feel most confident about? Where do you need the most development? What ethical challenge concerns you most? How will you apply today's learning? One of my greatest mentors once told me that excellence comes from knowing our strengths and growth areas. So share with your neighbor or your fellow judge or peer. Their perspective may reveal insight that you may have missed. Once again, thank you for making time today and for listening. I've attached a feedback survey QR code for you to scan and provide feedback on the session. With that, I am done, and thank you again for listening actively.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you so much for the very impactful session. If we have any question for Andrew, I don't know if there are questions for Andrew. I'm expecting that there will be questions, but if we have questions, we can signal or drop a message in the chat box so that Andrew can address them quickly. Are there any questions? Also, we have dropped some of our very important links so that you can also follow and get very important information for Arclight and also for WRO, and also for anything related to Arclight, both our website. All of those links are on the chat box. If you have any questions, do we have any questions for Mr. Andrew? I haven't seen any signal, but I'll be glad to see those signals. Andrew has also dropped a feedback form on the chat box. We can drop our feedbacks there. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. I think I got disconnected. Oh, wow. It seems as though you don't have any question. So help QR code for the feedback survey. So we don't have any question. Andrew, your session was
Thank you so much, Gift. I look forward to seeing more of you in the second session, which will be communicated in due time. Apart from that, thank you
thank you
once
so
again for
our WhatsApp group, and then also share on via emails to thank Okay, it seems as though my network is really not good at all. I don't know if anybody can hear me. All right. Thank you so much to everyone for joining. If you have any questions, you can also send a message to me or drop a message on the group chats. Thank you so much for joining. Do have a lovely day.